There is something, yeah, there is an expression that I share publicly that no one really does because A, most people don't want to see it, and B, it's uncomfortable to share it, and that is the process in which I get to like the good quality stuff. What I mean by that, like I was doing a vocal recording the other day over the weekend, and I was just talking. Period. I didn't have a focus, and I said that in the recording, and I ultimately got to a point of like an extreme focus that I had lots of resistance with, and I tackled it. I created a new video or recording, vocal recording, based off of where I was like leading up to, and then I like dove into one topic, and so I publish that kind of work. Because I think it's important, like in the long run, for people to see that. Again, I go back to the humanist aspect, right? I want people to see that sometimes, like, I was ridiculous, and I'm a ridiculous person, but some of the stuff I say, sometimes it's like sporadic, it rambles. It's like what is going on? Like, what is he even talking about? And I'm gonna like preface certain like videos and vocal recordings with that note saying, by the way, this is the type of recording or whatnot that you're gonna experience. And I think that's gonna become of great benefit later on. But I want to publish it now so it's out there. And I don't want to like backtrack to this moment and then post, the blubberish, right? I want to share as much as possible, as transparently as possible, and I think the process of getting to that high quality stuff and that being shared is super important. So my financial journey, there's like bonus features of building your own brand, and what I'm going to be doing is sharing what I'm answering via the questions that are given throughout this process, and ultimately I'm going to build a brand for people to kind of purchase my services. And like I've only gotten to one. I got to the point in the side journey of this whole financial journey of like of finding the problems of my community, and ultimately who I'm going to really be speaking to is the people who are spiritual, and get into the more esoteric side of spirituality, the metaphysical things. And so I wrote down a bunch of problems, and I have like some ideas here and there. But one of them is like an investigative report on mixed in with my own database of distilling and discerning all of the information that's out there. So take, for example, Syrian beings and their history and everything. I'm gonna, for myself, that was where it kind of like started, because I wanted to like really learn about it, because I would just read book after book after book after book after book after book, and the knowledge is like in and out, and I can like talk here and there about certain aspects, but nothing like I would want to be an expert on. And so I was going to create a database, but I think I'm going to do it publicly for sure, but also offer a way to like dive into a specific field that people may want to know about, and like maybe are too lazy to look up themselves, but mainly that they're just kind of overwhelmed with the information that's out there, because again, I don't have like experiences with certain things, and I don't like dive into one person or one channel and say that's truth. I kind of take it all and then express it, and then even with my expression of what I believe to be true, I then give the devil advocate side of, well, here's where it may not be true, and here's my beliefs on why maybe I think this, so take it with a grain of salt, so to speak. And I think that purchasing like an investigation like that would be cool, because then I can publish that report into a database, and after or as I give it to that person that really wanted to know a specific thing. And going along those lines, I'm really good at recognizing patterns, and so I think it would be really cool for me to kind of like connect dots for individuals. Maybe this will take like later on. But that's like my first idea, right? And I have so many, and I like just got to it, and that's just like the brainstorming thing. I haven't even like completed that practice, but that's where I'm at in that journey. So I'm sharing that journey, like how I'm getting to the point, and I'm publishing it, and then I'm linking it to synchronicity, my dreams, outside things that I connect to, like random esoteric stuff that eventually makes sense, and multiple timelines. So, like in sharing my journey, I'll have one post that has like a font of white because of a black background, and then maybe within that same post publication, or I'll go back and edit that post. I'll do it with like the color red or the color blue, and I will say that this is coming from 2 months after I posted the first thing, or after I wrote the first thing, and so you'll be reading it, and you'll see like my own thoughts on my own thoughts, and then I'm thinking, I haven't done this yet, but I could record my voice and give you a and this wouldn't be a video, this would have to be like a recording, so you don't have to like, well, I guess you could play the video as you scroll down, but I'm not going to post it as a video. As I take you through like a mega post on synchronicity, because it's sort of confusing, and I'm becoming better at becoming clear, right? But I think it'd be cool for people to see where I'm coming from and what I'm thinking about, what I'm doing, because a lot of stuff, like almost everything I post out there, I look at them, it's like, that's kind of, I like it a lot and whatnot, but there are certain things that I have in my awareness when I'm saying them that is just not getting expressed. So it doesn't make as much sense as it would to myself, obviously, when I do it, because I'm like slowly learning how to express clearly, and what I'm trying to express, right? Part of this vocal expression that I talked about recently was that I just haven't been talking about it, so I don't really like have a way of saying it, so to say, so yeah, let's see, I think there was like one more thing. Oh, and then the encouraging others to, actually I kind of alluded to this, but I'll kind of just like recap on it. Encouraging others to share their journey. It's so important because ultimately where we're going as a collective is a field and space of like extreme transparency. Everything is coming out, not only on an individual basis but on a collective basis too, and I want this ascension to happen now, so to say, and I'm sure a lot of people who are along the same lines and resonate with me also feel that way. I've kind of calmed down a bit on all this stuff, but I want to fast track it and expedite it, and I think by sharing myself and what I believe, and also encouraging others to do it too, that will help fast track it. And again, I think it's just I just think it's so important. And I like to share and like see myself, because then it like builds my own confidence, because I'll watch myself. Well, I haven't done it yet, but I'm assuming hopefully I'll enjoy watching myself. But in listening to myself and like reading what I wrote, I'm always like, before I do, I'm just like, oh, it can't be that good, and then I bear witness to my expression, and I'm like, huh, I am like, wow, that's great. And I think you'll find the same thing happens. And if you already do it, right? If you already produce yourself and can witness and experience your creation, then I really encourage you to just share like what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't even have to take much time. Like I said, like we want to know what you ate for breakfast. I mentioned a couple times, I think in my last recording, so I'll say it again, or my video recording I lost, that I don't necessarily want to see you go through like a negative thing, but if you are, it's so beneficial for that to be expressed. It doesn't have to be you being in a good mood all of the time, or you being this like high quality thing all the time. Have that too, because that's what we want, and that's what I'll be sharing as well. I'm a perfectionist, so when I see this like low quality stuff, I'm just like, oh, like it pains me so much. But ultimately, it's like entertaining. It's really cool to see what other people are doing, because like I'm not around anyone that is like into this stuff. When I go back to my family, even then, not really. Like my younger brother, here and there. I have a couple other family members that like would acknowledge that maybe this stuff is real, but they're not like really into it, so to speak. But the people who truly are, currently at this time, everyone's seemingly alone. And so when you're sharing the day-to-day stuff and the small stuff that may not seem very important, especially on like a consistent basis, not only are you gonna share the journey on a more intimate level of where you're going, so people can like see that path in real time if they know you now and like would like to know that, but also like later on you'll have a record for them to see. But it just really helps. I think it really helps. It helps people also think that it's okay for them to do it, because not many people do that, and telepathy is on its way, and all these gifts are on the way, and so we are becoming increasingly more perceptive to the truth, right, and the truth of each other. And if we can be fully ourselves now as often as we can, I think that is gonna like really kick things into gear, so to say. So yeah, I really hope this recording finished today, or this time, and I know I did. But yeah, that's me, and I've got lots of plans in my future, lots of plans that I want to share now, but maybe not going to. And ultimately I want to be connecting people and truly just putting myself out there as much as possible, as hard as it is, even though it's becoming less and less difficult. So thank you, and I love you guys. See you later.